Right.
We're live, right?
We're live. Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, you guys, there was a lot of
A technical
technical
difficulty.
difficulty. Even though we had planned this before, it just seemed like today everything went wrong as we were putting it all together. But I'm glad for whoever's out there that joined us today. This is I can't talk today, our first Wealth Building Wednesday. So we're excited about it. So, I'm looking for some responses to see if anyone else is excited about it also.
Okay.
Okay. We're a few minutes late here. So we were trying to wait in for
For a few
a
people to get
few
on.
people to get on,
Okay.
see if they're coming into the Zoom because you can access this through Zoom or you can access it through Facebook Live on the Grimes Group page. So I'm not sure where everyone is seeing it right now, but those are the two options. You can definitely access it. Do we have any comments yet, Madison?
Anybody joined on yet? Can you see anybody that's on? Okay. Because we can't see anything on this side right now.
And Madison is helping us out.
Yep, we have.
Hey guys.
She. I don't know if you can hear her in the background.
She's helping us out. So let's see. Let's try to
Chat.
chat. Okay. Oh, that won't show us that.
That's not that one. Okay.
Okay.
All
So
right.
anyway, let's move on.
All right.
We'll figure out the technical stuff at a later time, I guess. So you want to start?
Um. Well, I guess what we had planned for you guys was just a little bit about us, a little bit of a background of where we started from. Well, I guess that is the beginning, but all of this little technical difficulties throwing me off a little bit, but we're gonna move right past it. Okay. Well, this is our first wealth building Wednesday, and the reason that we're doing this is just to help inspire other people to build wealth and to figure out way and to show them the ways that we've done and what how we've established some wealth. I mean, we may not be the most wealthiest people in the world, but we try to manage our money very properly, and it's all about a mindset. And that was the first thing that we wanted to get into was about the mindset of managing your money, um, and managing your time also. So that's another big thing. And honestly, that's something that I even still struggle with because part of the technical difficulty is because I was out showing properties today, and didn't get back until late. And looks like I'm even sweating up here, but but
That's part of real estate.
but yeah,
That's
that's
what
a
we
part
do.
of real estate, because that's one of the things that we do. I mean, but real estate isn't where we really started. I mean, well, we did start in real estate. I mean, when we first met each other, oh my God, almost 26 years ago now. When we first met each other, we always talked about real estate. That was one of the things that we had talked about. I was an elevator installer at the time when we met, and then my wife was going to college. She was a physical therapist, and from that point, our relationship escalated. And trying to make a long story short.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we not jump ahead of the
Okay,
story?
all right,
And why don't we break it down a little bit?
break it down.
Break it down, break it down. That's what it takes. It takes a wife to tell that husband to break it down.
Okay, break it down.
Okay, so I think we need to take a step back
Hmm.
and break down where what does wealth mean to you? Let me ask you that question. What does wealth mean to you?
Ooh. Um, Sustainability, security,
Hmm. Sustainability and security.
sustainability, security. I don't know. What else should I be saying?
Well, I
What is
mean
it
that's
here?
that's great. And what wealth means to me is, not worried, not having to worry about the bill payments, not having the freedom to do what
Freedom.
I want to do
Absolutely.
when I want to do it. That is to me what wealth means. Okay, so this is not going to be a Just Carlene and Curtis show. This is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a participation show.
Mm-hmm.
So in the comment box, I'd like you to even leave what you feel wealth means to you. So whatever that may be, if wealth is, being able to drive a nice car and not having to worry about that payment, then that's what wealth means to you. Okay. Do we have a definition of wealth
Oh
per
my
se?
goodness. Um, Financial freedom, independence. I do not. I'm trying because I know we went over this and now I cannot think exactly what it was that our definition of wealth was. What the exact definition was.
Okay. So, honestly, wealth is basically what the money that you have, the possessions you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, life, this is only a small take that we're sharing with you here, only a small part of life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because you have your spiritual abundance, you have your personal wealth and health. All of that creates your happiness. So I don't want us to get mixed up in this whole thing here, that we're not trying to equate wealth with happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because happiness is nowhere near in that definition.
Not at all.
Okay, so wealth is only a segment of what's going to create a lifelong uh, a long
Length.
life of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
And
that's
leaving
only
a
part of it,
legacy.
and
And
leaving a legacy as well.
so that would be a part of wealth. Wealth is about leaving a legacy as well.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Where did you get your first idea of money? What was your first impression of money
My first impression, I guess,
that built your mindset
that
on money?
that built my mindset on money, I guess I would say would be from my parents. My dad owned a barbershop, and I used to work in that barbershop as a kid. So I grew up, managing and having to learn how to manage a business because my dad depended on me a lot to help manage his business.
Okay, so
Hmm.
and was in the idea of money in your head, was it bad or good?
Oh, it was a great thing. I mean, it afforded us to live, a decent life. So that's one of the great things with money, with wealth is it affords you to be able to do certain things that sometimes other people can't do.
Right, right. So if you have any ideas of money, what you think money is, or where did you first get that indication, whether it be bad or good about money, please post it in the comments. We want to know, how do you feel about money? How I grew up and I felt about money, I felt like money was something that could not be squandered. It had to be saved, and it had to be saved for that rainy day. So that now I exhibit in my life still today. So we have to also, throughout this series, we're going to talk about and really dig into what was your first interaction with money. Was it good? Was it bad? Is it healthy now today still? Or, how does money feel to you? And even the discussion of money. Okay.
Hmm. Well, I would say some of the things that that help establish me again was being able to kind of manage, watching my dad with his business and managing, um, being able to take trips and go on vacations and things like that. So that always impacted me.
Mhm.
So being able to see that was one of the things that kind of helped establish the need for, you know having wealth.
Okay, so that was in your teens.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about your 20s. How
Okay.
did money look like to you, and how did your um, your dynamic with your finances look to you in your 20s?
Well, I ain't had no money
I'm
in my
asking this.
I didn't have any money
We
in my
gonna get
20s.
real here today, y'all.
I didn't have any money in my 20s. So yeah, when you met me, I ain't had no money. So I mean, I may have looked like I had a little bit of money. I drove a I drove a nice little car, and I had a pretty decent job when we met. So
And that was in your 20s.
that was in my 20s.
Yes. So in my 20s, I was just figuring it out myself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in college, at the time. Curtis had already had a job with elevators, and I was in college, and I was now, finishing up with school and things like that. So I really didn't have a ground. But
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Mid 20s, where were we? Because that's when we bought our first
We bought our first house.
investment property.
Absolutely.
And did it happen overnight?
No, it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time. We had to save, and we put a lot of sweat equity into, uh, you know, into that building that we had purchased,
Mm-hmm.
and we built from there. I mean, but we kind of set a plan in place, knowing what it was that we were looking to do. I mean, early on, I think we established that. That's one of the great things I could say about even our relationship is that, when it comes to business, that's one of the main things that we've always had a good foundation in, a great,
Yeah, that's
great,
true.
great foundation in business.
Because we could be mad as
Yeah,
all get out, but when it comes time to
when,
business,
when it comes time to to make the donuts or whatever you want to call it, we know how to make the donuts.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, all right. So, I just want to encourage anyone on this call today that is in their 20s that, yeah, that's probably the broke part, So
Well,
don't. It's not going to last forever,
mhm. Do
It's
we
not
have
going to
any?
last
Is
forever.
anybody on like with any questions or anything like that? Because I can't see it on the side. So that's what we were hoping, because we need this to be a little bit more interactive. You everybody that's watching, you guys can throw us some questions, and we'll try to answer those questions to the best of our ability. Again, a little disclaimer: we are not financial consultants or
Yes.
anything like that. Um, but I can tell you, like I said, only from our experiences. So what we're giving you is from our experiences. We've, um, we've had some shortfalls, and we've had some really high moments. So, we've been up and we've been down. So it's a journey. It's a journey. Building wealth is a journey.
Okay. So, all right. So we went. Let's breeze through. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the 20s, early 20s, later 20s. We in between that time, we got comfortable, didn't we? We purchased a couple of properties
We purchased about two or three more properties at
Be,
that time.
because let me just say this: when you do one,
Mhm.
it becomes easy to do the next one.
It does.
And it becomes easier as you go along. That's why you never stop at one,
Mm-hmm.
because then you start building your sense of, oh, it wasn't that hard as I thought it was going to be. And you just keep going from there. So that's what we want to, make sure to encourage you today to, if you have one, or if you started, or if you haven't started yet, and you think, oh, this is going to be pretty hard to get started, it's really not hard to get started. So we'll have some other segments with some investors on here
Mm-hmm.
that are going to talk about how it is to get started and what the market looks like and what they're doing to be successful and their bottom lines are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's all about growth. It's about the
about
growth. That's one of the key. That's one of the key principles to building wealth is growth. They say when you have financial freedom, you also have more time to pursue some of your personal freedoms. So that's one of the things that helps establish you to that point. is building and getting that growth. Get the first one under your belt, and don't be scared. Don't let fear be a factor in your growth. Don't let fear be a factor.
Absolutely. So now, okay, so let's fast forward to 30s.
Mm.
Okay, so again, we can always go back and explain more in depth, but let's fast forward to 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 30s, we did what? We
Um,
moved down here, right?
yeah, we moved down to Florida in our 30s. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what happened?
Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Hold up now, because now she's trying to throw other stuff in here that we didn't even discuss first.
Well,
so I'm like, okay.
This one we're not gonna get dive deep,
Mm-hmm.
but we moved down here, and what happened? The
market crashed.
It tanked.
The market crashed. Had a lot of money invested. We had a lot of money invested in the stock market at the time. We moved down from New York, and we ended up foreclosing on a couple of properties.
Yeah, everything that we had built for.
Yeah, everything that we had built
had worked for, and I mean, it just went crumbling down
mm-hmm.
in front of our faces. And honestly, mindset had to be imperative at that time.
Absolutely.
How did you feel at that time? If you can, be transparent when all of this was happening. I mean, we moved down here, you moved your family down here, and as a man, I know that had to feel a way. I don't know exactly how you feel, but I was a witness to a lot of what was going on. Of course, I was here. I was there.
Well, it was a little scary in the very beginning because, not to say, I just did what I had to do at that point. I mean, I had to downsize. I went from driving a really nice car to trading that car in and getting money for the car and taking on a job that I didn't even really want to do. Because when we moved down here, I mean, we kind of felt like we were, a little financially set because, I think the first year or two, you didn't work and I was still working back and forth in New York.
Neighborhood thought we were drug dealers. I'm just put it out there, okay? We came down here and moved into a beautiful community, and I'm not sure how many times we heard,
a witness. We had a neighbor that asked if we were in the witness protection program. I thought that was the funniest thing. I laugh at it to this day.
That's when I was
you're
a little successful.
Yeah, that is kind of honestly, I think that was one of the moments when I really felt like I was a little, because I had a person tell me, he's like, man, are y'all like in a witness protection program or something? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, but anyway, back on topic. Mindset was really our goal, right? Is to talk about getting into the mindset,
because you had to place yourself in a certain mindset
mm-hmm.
in order to take a step back,
mm-hmm.
so we can
go forward. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Yeah, the hands down, definitely. That was definitely the case. Like I said, it was
how did you do that? How did you put yourself in that mindset is what I'm asking you to kind of help somebody else. I don't know how you did it. How did you put yourself in the mindset to say, I'm going to trade in my Denali
mm-hmm.
to now drive something that I'm not used to driving? And how did you adjust without jumping off the building, like some people would say?
I guess I would really fall back to my faith.
Okay.
That my faith is one of the things that really sustains, us as a family. It sustains me as a person, as an individual, and going through life's challenges, because life is going to have challenges. That's one of them. And trying to build wealth, you're going to face a lot of challenges, because listen, if everybody was, how does that saying go? I don't know. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yes.
If building wealth was easy, everybody'd be wealthy.
Absolutely.
So
it's not easy.
It's not easy. You're gonna definitely encounter some problems. And there's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna have to overcome. But keeping that goal in mind, I think is the main thing. Is keeping your goal in mind.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, all right. So let's get out of the 30s as quick as possible.
Yeah, we're going to kind of skip over the
30s. I mean, we have some stories, you guys.
Yeah, but we'll tell those at another time. We just want to help people get into the mindset of building wealth. And I think that was my key topic in my head, was the mindset. So that's what I was really focused on.
So now your 40s,
mm-hmm.
You have the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about your mindset?
Wow. My mindset it has stayed the same. It has really stayed the same. It is, I'm still goal oriented. Once you set a plan out, stick to the plan. That would be my advice to anybody: is set a goal in your head, set a goal out there for, what it is that you want to do, and stick to it. You got to have stick-to-itiveness. That is one of the key character traits to become successful. Listen to a lot of different motivation, read books. Those are some of the things that we've done. I mean, we went through. See, there's a lot of things that we're still skipping over. We're skipping over, even our time in New York, because there's a part of our time in New York where, we were part of a marriage enrichment ministry. We did Crown Financial Studies. So we kind of studied a little bit of all of this before, and that I believe also is some of the things that gave us that preparedness for the things that come.
Yeah, because isn't it true? We have to, educate ourselves mm-hmm. on the things that we want to be strong in, mm-hmm. And mindset. I know for me in my, 40s, it all came to realization. I even did a podcast mm-hmm. where I talked about, I woke up this morning free, mm-hmm. So it's so important to have the right mindset. Now, Curtis, what tips? So you said podcasts, you mm-hmm. said books. Mm-hmm. Do you have any books that off the top of your head that you'd recommend for somebody that is looking to?
Oh, the first book would be definitely Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That was one of the first books I think that I had read that really kind of impacted me. I can't even think. I'm trying to think of a little phrase or something from the book at the moment, but honestly, that was almost 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I really dug when I read the book, or when it first came out. I don't think it's been out that long, but yeah.
I think we looked it up the other day. I forgot how long.
Yeah, I think in 96, 97, the book came
somewhere
out.
Around there.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So mm-hmm. If you're looking to start somewhere, don't know where to start, that was our go-to book mm-hmm. in the beginning, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I say this: if once your kids can read, have them start reading it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm not talking about like 5 years old. You're not gonna have 5-year-old. Well,
why not?
5-year-olds, right?
They have. I know they had a set of books for that.
Yeah. So then start them from babies, right? Mm-hmm. Start them having that intuitiveness to start building a foundation for themselves. Now, Curtis recommended Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was going to say that recommendation myself, but I'm going to say another book that my daughter reminded me of the other day that I'd read before, and she has read also, and it's called The 4 Agreements. Because if we're talking about mindset, you this is all about your mind, how you feel, and the agreement you have with yourself.
Hmm.
What does that look like? Correct?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't start with reading Robert Kawasaki. I hope
Hmm.
I'm saying that right, because
Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki, because he
Hmm.
gonna say, "Hey, you butchered my name." But it doesn't start with that. It starts with inside
Hmm.
and who you are. So that's my thoughts on that. Any other recommendations for mindset?
Well, it was. I was trying to look it up while you were talking, and
Okay.
I could not find it right off the top of my head.
Well, then
So,
I'll talk a little more then. Okay, so so let's talk about, okay, because we're wrapping it up
hmm.
shortly. So let's talk about meditation. I don't know how many of you do meditation out there, but I feel that meditating at least 10 minutes a day can help you sort out your mind. I usually get up as early as possible. It hasn't been too early lately, but getting up as early as possible to do at least 10 minutes out of the day. Most people will recommend 2 times a day, 20 minutes. But to start off, it might be better for a shorter time and more frequent periods of time in the day if you can. Okay, so that's one of my other recommendations for mindset and affirmation. Then I'll let you go.
Hmm.
Okay, I just want to keep talking. Okay, affirmations. I feel that affirmations is also a good thing to do. Telling yourself who you are, who you want to be,
Hmm.
and claiming it, name it and claim it. Okay, so those are, and if you want more about affirmations, we can definitely post some that I use, that we all use,
Hmm.
and that maybe that would have a little, give you a little idea of what we're talking about. Okay.
Hmm. Well, the books that I was gonna share was shared with me. Honestly, I haven't read these books yet. I think I may have read one of them, The Simple Path to Wealth, Happy Money, and Psychology of Money. Now, the Psychology of Money, I know I haven't read, but I think I did read The Simple Path to Wealth before, and I believe that is definitely an inquisitive book, and it will help you build and establish that mindset, because the mindset is definitely something that gets you on the path. Once where your mind goes, your body is going to follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to give credit to. Are you going to give that person credit that recommended those things?
Oh yes. Oh, that okay. Yeah, I wasn't.
I'm not going to let him get away with
A
that.
friend of ours, Wendy Papasan, she recommended those three books to me, because I had reached out to her when I told her we were doing this, and she thought it was a great idea.
So thank you, Wendy.
Yes, thank you, Wendy. Um, but again, I mean, there's a lot of books out there. But I'm gonna tell you, kind of like, one of Steve Harvey's things is, sometimes you just have to jump. You have to start. You want to be prepared. You want to know, but you have to start. You got to take that first step. Taking that first step sometimes is really, just get advice from somebody. Look to somebody that you see that's doing it, and don't be scared to ask them. Like, I'll never forget, in the beginning of one of my wife's favorite movies, The Pursuit of Happiness. um, Will Smith
I may watch
in
it tonight.
Will Smith in the movie, he goes up, and the guy's coming down the stairs, and he gets into a really fancy sports car,
Mm.
and he asks the guy, "Man, what do you do?" You know what? And I mean, I think that's my thing. Just ask people, like, what is it that you do to be able to live the life that you live? Um, you know, and one thing my mother would always tell me was, chew the meat and spit out the bones. So and one of the things, and the reason why I say that is because, listen, there's going to be people that have something, that have, ideas, or you see their life, and their life may not be totally the way that you want it, but there's some parts of their life that you say, man, that's really good, that you can draw from that. So chew the meat, spit out the bones. That's all I can tell you. That's my big word of advice.
We may have to end with that. Listen, we stood on here for almost an hour.
No,
And, you know,
more no.
no,
45
no,
minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 45 minutes.
So if you have any questions,
Are there any
let us
questions?
know.
Is there anybody with any questions? Are you sure? Are we live? Because I'm sure that there's somebody out there. I think we're missing something, honestly.
Yeah, you know,
Because
we'll find out after.
yeah, we'll definitely we'll definitely we'll be better prepared next Wednesday.
Yes,
Uh,
I have some people texting now, and it looks like the connection wasn't good, or um, they needed the login and things like that. So,
okay.
you know, it was in the email, so I don't have it on, on me right now. But this whoever registered will be able to see it, and there was a good amount of registrants. So I see that TJ's on here. So um, thank you so much, and Sister Clem is on here as well. So thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Um, and like I said, if you have any questions, we're going to do this series. And there's always a first. Just keep in mind that there's always a first in anything. This was our first time going live, telling a little bit of our story. And it felt good. So you get over the hump, you get over that initial hump, and then the rest is like
it'll start to flow. Don't worry. Don't worry. We get better over time. I can guarantee you that. That I can guarantee you.
Absolutely. Do you have any closing statements? So before we say goodbye and good evening.
I think that's about it for me.
That's about it. So if you don't have any questions, listen, thank you for joining us. And please let me know if you have any feedback for us. We'd love it.
Absolutely.
And share it with your friends. Share it with your friends, because they may not be in a position where they can see it, but they could probably be in a position where they can benefit from this. So we appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll post it on YouTube and get it out to you. Okay. Right. Have a wonderful evening.
Absolutely.
Happy
Thanks
Wednesday.
Again. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you.